is in that bottle. So today, featured in that bottle, we have one of my favorite producers, one of my favorite wines. We are drinking some Zinfandel from Robert Bialy Vineyards.
Oh man, that's good.
This is from the 2014 vintage, and it comes from a very special vineyard area place, specific place called Pagani Ranch in Sonoma County. Pagani Ranch is located in the Sonoma Valley AVA, and there are some notable producers that actually bottle a Pagani Ranch. Ridge does a Pagani Ranch, Sagazio, Robert Bialy here, of course, and a handful of others that are well known. The vineyard, Pagani Ranch, actually was planted in the 1900s.
Whoa.
And what I love about Bialy is their history goes back that far as well. The Bialy family, the Paganis, the Bialys, immigrants from Italy, setting up shop in Sonoma, planting vines, wanting to make their homemade Italian, homemade wines. And the Bialy family did just that. And they were farmers first and foremost for decades and decades and decades. They didn't start bottling their own wine under their own name, Bialy, until the 90s. And
oh wow!
Yeah, when that happened, it became an instant California cult wine. They were hard to find. They were rare. It was kind of like collecting baseball cards or something. Like, whoa, what's this new? Wow, Bialy is bottling their own stuff. Like, everybody wanted it. And in a general synopsis, they have connections or ownership in a variety of vineyards throughout Napa and Sonoma, and they bottle mostly Zinfandel, some other varieties too, like Petit Syrah and Syrah, but mostly Zinfandel from all these different vineyards throughout Sonoma and Napa, and they all put off a different kind of quality, a different kind of taste, depending on where they come from. And that's what I love so much about the wines. That, and for Napa Valley or for a California producer of this quality, they are quite affordable.
Before we get to your take on this particular bottle,
Yes.
old vine. I mean, so you talked about plantings all the way back to the 1900s. So this would be old vines.
Yeah, this is definitely gnarly old vines. I don't know, off the top of my head, how many of these vines are original. I mean, a vine reaches a certain age and you want to replant it, but the vineyard itself has been cultivated for well over a century at this point.
Wow.
And the older the vines, the better quality the fruit. That should be the case anyways. The vine should struggle to produce the fruit, and so the little bit of fruit that it does make is really, really top-notch and high quality. And that's exactly what you get when you buy any bottle of Robert Bialy Zinfandel. I think this is a benchmark Zinfandel producer. And so today we've got the 2014 Sonoma Pagani Ranch. Right off the bat, it's really got this high-toned, almost red licorice note going on with it. And I want to say that maybe this isn't 100% Zinfandel. That I believe there is Alicante planted in this vineyard also. And a lot of Zinfandels from California tend to be more field blends than they are straight 100% Zinfandels.
What does that mean?
Well, the field blend is we're going to plant mostly Zinfandel, but a few other varieties might have gotten in the mix too, and we're not going to bother sorting those or knowing where those are within the vineyard. We're just going to harvest all the fruit and throw it into that bottle, and we'll call it a Zinfandel, but it might have a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Nice. Yeah, I agree on that red licorice. It reminded me specifically of Super Ropes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I get specific with my licorice. You got the red vines, the Twizzlers, the Super Rope, the artisan, stuff at the farmer's market. There's actually been this year at the farmer's market, there was a dude making artisan licorice. And he had just a ton of them. It was great. Dangerous though. It's a lot of sugar.
So this definitely puts off a lot of those different characteristics where some of the other Bialy Zinfandels can be a little bit more classic, dark black fruits, black pepper, what you might think about a little bit more oak. This, to me, this doesn't really scream oak at all.
No.
This bottling, and I don't know what the oak regimen was on this, in terms of how much brand new oak or how long the wine was aged in that oak in order to impart those flavors. But this one, in terms of oak, it feels very like it's taken a back seat, and the fruit and the secondary notes are coming forward. And I think when you're bottling by a vineyard, especially one as historic as Pagani Ranch, you don't want to mask all the fruit and the flavor you get from this vineyard by dousing it with a ton of oak. And so this particular wine might not be your like ultimate crowd pleaser Zinfandel, where I think in general Zinfandel is, you know, a great choice for an all-purpose red to, I don't know, maybe bring to a get-together or a party.
Yeah, hey, look at that.
But this one is a little bit more unique, very expressive. And 2014, you know, about coming up on 5 years old. I think that's kind of the wheelhouse to start drinking your Zins. These aren't necessarily known as wines to age for a really long time, and I personally think somewhere in like the 4 to 8 years old mark is the great window to drink up a good California Zinfandel.
Nice, yeah, and these are super small production wines, right? Like a couple hundred cases kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have the production on this bottling, but you know, across the board, you know, especially when you're talking about Pagani Ranch or a vineyard like this, where you have a handful of top producers getting some of the fruit to bottle, you're obviously in competition with other producers. You're not going to get a whole lot to produce to begin with. But yeah, small, artisanal. You know, the Bialy connection with me is kind of funny because I didn't know about this wine. I was already kind of established as the wine guy in the family, but I didn't really know about Bialy Zinfandel. And kind of like your story from the intro, episode 1, you went out to dinner, you ordered a bottle for a client. Well, my dad did the same thing, and he ended up ordering a bottle of Bialy Zinfandel, flipped out over it, kind of told me about it. I eventually had one, like, wow, this is great. It's kind of become like the Matante house wine, the house Zinfandel. And,
That's fancy house wine.
It is fancy schmancy, but of all the wine clubs you can join, this one actually will not send you to the poorhouse. It's actually a really good deal, and you get just an awesome variety of like all these different vineyards versus like 6 bottles of just one kind of wine.
Yeah, I'm getting like on that kind of second sip, like as it starts to get a little bit air, like kind of like cherry cola and a little bit of like chocolate mousse almost, like just really gentle, right?
I love that we're talking about that, you know, these types of flavors, these secondary flavors, and not just fruit. This, you know, this is not white Zinfandel, right? This is not, you know, sometimes people hear the word Zinfandel and you just think sweet or cheap or bulk, or, you know, that is definitely not the case, especially with these awesome gnarly old vine plantings that we have here in front of us today.
Yeah, and I had to look up the field blend part of this, right? So I was curious what else is in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you called Alicante, so you called that one.
Cool.
Lenoir.
Say what?
Lenoir.
Lenoir.
Mm-hmm. Lenoir. Lenoir.
All right, that's a new one for me.
Petit Syrah. And Grand Noir. And numerous others like Big Old Vine Salad of many heritage varieties. That's what it says.
So even they don't know, probably.
No, they don't.
Or they're just like, well, we could go figure it out, but who gives a shit?
But it's mostly Zinfandel. So, and Zinfandel, like you said, partay.
Partay time.
Yes.
So